Launchpad Scholar at the Block School of Business Administration, Business Management, the Block School over at UMKC. And so he graduates tomorrow at 2 p.m. at T-Mobile Center. And so got a little emotional on the way to work today because there's been a lot over the past couple of weeks. A lot of things have been, a lot of events, a lot of things that I've had on my schedule, a lot of work events, a lot of appearances, family stuff. A lot of things have been between, me and watching Phil graduate on Saturday. And so just driving to work, it just hit me like, oh, he's graduating tomorrow. Yeah. My baby's boy. And it's just, it's every parent that's listening right now is going through this in some fashion or will go through it. Whether your kid's graduating from grade school, high school, college, it's there, it's happening in the near future. You see it coming, and then it just seems like all of a sudden, before you know it, before you think you're fully prepared, bam, it's here. And that's where I'm at right now. It's just, bam, hit me right in the face. Again, so because I'm driving to work this morning, and I'm thinking, damn, in a couple of hours I'm going to be at his graduation brunch on campus, and he's done. He's gone to his last class. He's turned in his last assignment. And so, what a crazy, fun, wild journey it's been. And y'all have been a part of it. This kid has grown up on Sports Radio 810. So, yeah. His life has spanned the entire time that he was born. When I briefly left 810 and went over to 97.3 The Planet, our FM station, and so he's been, his whole life has been me doing the morning show on Sports Radio 810. So I've talked a lot about Phil over the years, and it's just, man, it's crazy. Can't believe it's happening. But so excited and so happy. Just thrilled. And Jake, you'll be there tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that.
Can't wait. Phil Wood wristband.
Small but mighty group together tomorrow. We're going to check into the President Hotel, our headquarters. Whenever we have something special or a big event downtown, you can find us at the President Hotel. And I need it too because I'm still gonna MC Flash Dash down in NKC tomorrow morning, and then come back and get ready and go to graduation. And then, as always, honored to MC the ALS Association Night of Hope out at Arrowhead. And we're all going to do that as a family. So, special weekend coming up. And tonight we're eating at Lula Southern Cookhouse. Would it be appropriate for me to get a shrimp boil the night before graduation?
I don't know about Lula.
Well, you need to find out.
Never heard of it.
Well, no, you've heard of it just now. I'll put it in your ear.
Sounds delicious.
Great people. Great people. Awesome food. Can't wait. So, yesterday was something also I thought was awesome, was fun. I was down at the media gathering for the 1985 and 2015 Royals celebration. They had a wonderful gala last night. I did not attend. I got too much on my plate. Last night was get home from work, take Phil to eat, and brother, I haven't done this in a while. I was I think I was asleep at 8:30. It was awesome. And then I woke up at 12:30 and stayed up for like an hour and a half. Couldn't go back to sleep. My body was so confused. What is all this sleep you're giving me? Stop it.
Jealous.
So I get there, and I find out that, because we didn't know who we were getting from the 85 and then in the 2015 celebrations. And, of course, they'll be honored. 85 tonight, 2015 tomorrow night out at Kauffman Stadium before the Royals take on the Cardinals. So it's me, and then it's some writers and a whole bunch of news people, TV people. And Bethany and Paige from Sports Radio 810 were down there. And so I'm trying to elbow Sam McDowell out of the way because he's such a bully and red ass down there. Thinks it's all just for him. We both took two pens, though. They were complimentary to the media there. Always looking for good pens. We were excited about that. And they had lifesavers out. Because, in case anyone has any bad breath. Little hard candies.
The mints or the candies?
Both.
Oh.
I mean, what's wrong with that? Complimentary.
Hey.
Let's go. So we find out, okay, we're going to get Dayton Moore. And so they brought out Dayton Moore, who spoke for a long time, and it was really, really good. And then they brought out George Brett on his birthday, and he spoke for a long time, and he was really good. All of them were good. And then they brought out Mike Moustakas. And then finally and this was, look, those are all big names, right? That's all awesome. But I had never talked to this gentleman before. It was exciting for me to talk to Darryl Motley. Hit the big home run in Game 7 that I asked him about. And then caught the final out, which I asked him about. So and you could kind of tell I was geeking out a little bit. And there was some younger people there that had, no idea what to. I'm not criticizing anyone. They just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And I did appreciate Sam Mellinger give me a little fist bump afterwards, and he said, "The real ones remember the home run." I said, "That's right." How am I going to talk to Joe Motley, not ask about the ball that just goes foul and then comes right back and puts it in the same place down the left field line, home run? Of course I'm going to ask you about that. But that was awesome, man. That was awesome. It's great. Great to talk to Dayton Moore. Great to talk to Mike Moustakas. Great to talk to George Brett. Great to talk to Darryl Motley. And we'll play some of that for you. And so if you saw on the news, one of the main takeaways from that media gathering that everybody ran with, because it was really funny, was, and you see this on all the TV stations and the newspaper, and this is what one of the focal points was, because you never know what guys are going to say or what the story is going to end up being after you talk to four people in a media gathering. We're all kind of gathered around them and watch the camera guys complain about people in front of them. And boy, there's one guy, I don't know what TV station or something, he was pissed. He was trying to start stuff with everybody. He almost got into it with Bethany. Let me tell you something. I ain't making Bethany mad. I'm glad Bethany's on my side. She got my back. Jake, you'd have been proud.
She bow up?
There was someone trying to tell everyone what to do. And Bethany's like, yeah, I don't answer to you.
That's right.
I'm looking at Bethany.
She's strong.
Bethany,
strong woman.
You a real one. Let's
she
does
go. Monday workouts with us at base camp with Lebo. She can lift.
And then she looked at me. She said, "Keep your mouth shut, St. John." I said, "Whoa,
wow.
Okay, all right, well, all right then. That's how it is." Bethany Bowman hosts. She's on the mic. So How much you want to play here? How much time do we have? Give me something. Give me some guidance. Be my producer.
Well, you got
I'm an emotional wreck.
You're talking about the news and
you're talking
story.
about it.
We played some in the intro.
Did you enjoy listening to any of that stuff?
Oh, it's great.
Because I was excited when I called you and said, this stuff's pretty good. Did you like it?
It's great. It's great. Listened to it last night. Came in here and cut it up.
You're always cutting it up.
Cutting it up.
Every day. Okay, so I'll give you the background on the story. I remember we talked about the bobblehead they're giving away tonight to honor 85 of the embrace between Brett Saberhagen and George Brett right after the last out. And you want that, don't you?
Absolutely, I do.
If anyone out there can get their hands on one, would you like to make a deal?
I'm already bothering Mellinger about it.
I don't think it's a bother. I think Sam Mellinger genuinely likes you.
Yeah, we're friends.
I don't think you're bothering him.
He's a friend of mine. I can call him a friend. Our mothers share the same birth date.
I think he cares about you. It was good to see him.
Yeah,
I embraced
he's great.
him.
I love Sam.
I embraced him, and he said, "Don't touch me."
But he was very kind about it.
Right. First, you embrace it. Don't touch me. So, any old school Royals fan would like to get their hands on the bobblehead, right? And so, do you have the question in here, or do I have to set it up that way? Because I asked George about the bobblehead, and this gets into him talking about the final out, and then this gets into telling a story about Darryl Motley and $100, and then Darryl Motley came up later, and so I had to follow up, and so I'm happy to say my questions brought out these answers that everyone ran with. That was pretty much the main story or the fun story last night for the media gathering, and so I feel like that was I felt happy about that. Because sometimes I go to press conferences and ask stupid questions.
It's a job well done.
And people are like, what kind of question was that from this dummy? But last night I feel like I did a pretty good job here. Let's go. Here is how this, so now you have some context to it, and here's how all this came about. And any Royals fan, especially if you have recollections of 1985, I think you will really appreciate this, and this was so much fun talking to George Brett and Darryl Motley about this.
They're going to give away a bobblehead of the hug between you and Sabres after Game 7. They're doing that tomorrow night. What do you remember about that moment when you're hugging Saberhagen after finally winning it all?
Well, I remember in the dugout, the bottom of the eighth when we were hitting, it was 11-0, and we were all saying, okay, whoever catches the last out gets $100 from everybody on the team. Yeah, why not? So the guy flies out to Motley. And I remember going up to talk to Brett, and I said, okay, there's 2 outs now. When this guy makes an out, kind of like the old Hoosier speech, and he will, like Ollie, you will make the second one. And this guy will make the last out. Don't go running all over the place because I want to be the first one to meet you. Because I've been through a lot of these failures. You haven't, you know. So sure enough, he hits it, and we run out there. We're waiting for Motley to catch it, and we give him a bear hug. And then I remember the first thing after that, Balboni come in, and he gave us both a bear hug. You know, he is so big, and his arms so strong. And then after that, it was total chaos. I knew Darryl Motley was coming today. I never paid him his $100. I saw him in the lobby there, and I went up and I gave him $100. He wouldn't take it. I said, no. Here's $100. I've owed it to you for 40 years. I've told this story 1,000 times. I'm getting it off my conscience. We're even. I don't know if anybody else has paid him, but I know I wiped my debt clear with him today.
Pay your debts.
So that was George Brett, and now here is Darryl Motley as he makes his way into the interview room. And again, look, just like for me, I felt this sounds so dumb. Go if it does, say it. Call me out. I just felt like I was 12 years old again. Like, oh, it's Darryl Motley. You know, and that just brought back such great memories of
Shut up, dummy.
Being with my grandparents and my mom and watching the final out. And it's Darryl Motley, you know? He'll hold a place in the hearts of Royals fans forever. And I'd never had a chance to meet him, you know, as an adult. I think I met him when I was a kid. I think I met him at the parade. And so Here is Daryl Motley as he walked into the interview room, and I immediately followed up on George Brett's $100 story.
So Daryl, did you get the $100 from George? He said he paid you $100 today.
He did give me $100. I can prove it. I can't believe he gave it to me either. But yeah, he gave me $100. $100 bill, as a matter of fact.
He said he didn't know if he was the only one that's paid you for that or the other players paid back
Nobody else, to my knowledge. Here it is right here. Nobody else has ever paid me for that. Yeah. And I remember they told me, hey, whoever catches the last out, everybody got to give them $100. Yeah. As soon as we won the whole thing, I caught the last out. I couldn't even believe it was coming to me, actually. But after I caught it, everybody scattered. Yeah, everybody.
Might be time to collect now.
Well, if I could get them to do like George did, I'd do pretty good tonight.
That was awesome. Jake, your thoughts? You listened to that last night.
What a good story. I'd never heard that story until yesterday. It's phenomenal. It's disappointing that nobody paid except for George.
And if you see, I've got a picture. Should I send this to you?
Sure. Of the $100 bill?
I got a picture of Daryl Motley happily displaying the $100 bill. You want it?
Yeah, send it to me. My phone's in my car.
Any backstory to that at all? Or?
Oh, I was a little thrown off. Someone parked in my...
Oh, I was going to ask you, what was that? What's that all about?
Some jack off in promotions parked our promotions car in my spot.
Boy, things just got real all of a
Oh,
sudden.
I've been off since I'm not.
Oh, I'm not criticizing you. I know what it's like
right.
when someone. Well, I know you're not right.
Because then I looked around this place for the truck keys but whatever.
Do you know who did it?
No, I have no idea.
Do you have an idea who did it?
Well, I mean, there's only a few people in promotions that have keys to that truck. I know Drake wouldn't do that.
No.
But we'll see.
So can I email them to you?
No, I'm going to go get my phone as soon as we go to break. So send it to me. I would like to see it.
Okay, I'm still emailing them to you. And then I'll text them to you. I don't want you to be upset.
No, it's okay. I'll get over it.
Did you like the? I did send you one picture in a text message from yesterday. Did you?
To me and Lebo?
Yeah. Do you have any comment? And let me tell you something.
Hey, been there.
And let me look at me.
Been there.
Look at me. Every bit of that text was true.
Been there. I've been there.
Look at me. I
felt your pain. It made me laugh.
Sometimes I've been known to embellish.
It made me laugh. No.
Guess what?
I knew you weren't embellishing.
Because guess what?
True.
It went on after that.
Oh, I believe it.
So I underestimated.
I believe it.
Okay.
No, I believe it.
I
chuckled because I was like, I feel his pain because I've been in that spot. And that's no bueno.
No, I wanted, like, if I was going to suffer through it, I wanted someone to get joy out of it, and I knew you and Todd would.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thanks.
A little cornering.
You empathized with me at that point, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. Can you zoom in? Are you that good where you zoom stuff?
I try. I don't know how to show up.
But how good are you, though?
I'm great.
Look how happy Daryl Motley is to have that $100 bill.
Hold on. Almost got it. There we go.
I'm impressed by what you're doing right now.
There you go. Hold that.
What do you think of that? Is he not happy to have that?
Double hand hold.
Keep it right there. Hold on. I'm going to show the next one. At this point, he's look at that, waving it around, showing people. I mean, that meant something to him.
Benjamin, well, pay your debts. Hear that, 85 Royals? Pay your debts.
Well, I mean, like when you walk in there, I wonder how this is going to go. I haven't seen a bunch of these guys. It's 85 reunion. You never know. Yeah, think about it. You go to a class reunion. You don't know how that's going to go.
Oh, someone walked up to me and he's like, hey, I owe you $100.
If you're 5 minutes into a class reunion and a guy just walks up and gives you a $100 bill, like, this is great.
Hey, that eighth I never paid you for, here's $50.
What?
Nothing.
Daryl Motley walks through the lobby, and George Brett sees him and walks right up to say, Daryl, here's the $100 I owe you. That's a good day.
It's a great day.
Like if I walked to George and say, hey, this is the $100 I owe you, then I'm kicking ass that night. This is a big time for my life. You know?
Cha-ching.
Thank you. We'll take a break. I hope people enjoyed that. We've got more. Between now and the end of the show, I've got some more George Brett, more Daryl Motley, more Mike Moustakas. I had talked with Dayton Moore, a couple of good things, including about being aggressive at the trade deadline. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And the other one, this was for me and you, I asked him about Giordano. Got to do that, right?
Absolutely.
We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you so much for joining us. There's the video of the final out. After we hear the story from George Brett and Daryl Motley. See, there's Motley. He gets it. Out of right field, jumps up and down. There's the embrace.
Last man between the Royals and the World Series title. He takes the ball, 1-0. 1 out to go. 9th inning, 11-0. A 1-0 pitch. High fly ball. Motley going back to the track. No outs to go.
What a time.
The Royals have won the 1985 World Series.
I liked hearing George say that he told Saberhagen, you don't do nothing. Don't be running off. I've been through all this stuff. I've been through all these, heartbreaking losses. You haven't, so you're going to stay right here and I'm going to hug.
Normally they run over and grab the catcher. But
Brett
George
was,
said, look to third base.
He was standing right there next to him there waiting for Motley, who now has he had $100 in his pocket. Had a $100 bill last night.
When you watch that replay, it's really nice of Willie Wilson, who the center fielder normally can call off anybody they want. And Willie said, I'm just going to let you catch this, Motley.
He was hauling ass over there.
He could have easily just cruised on over and made that catch.
Yeah. He knew
the $2,500 were not going to be laid there in his pocket, so.
I wonder if anyone else gave Daryl Motley $100 last night.
I'd been collecting interest on that.
That's the that's the second part of the story we have to find out. And so I'm gonna play a couple of more clips. Stan, just get your reaction. And man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I had so much fun doing this and talking to George Brett and Daryl Motley and Mike Moustakas and Dayton Moore about just both of the championships. And I think it's so cool that the Royals are doing this. They had the gala last night, and then tonight they celebrate the 85 World Champs, and then tomorrow the 2015 World Champs. 40 years and 10 years. Anniversaries, can't believe it. Everyone should remember. Well, first, George Brett turned 72 yesterday. How about that?
Wow.
That's hard. That's hard for, when your heroes... 72.
And he's so good at telling a story still.
Right. Oh, yeah.
He's good at those baseball stories.
Oh, yeah. And he great recollection, great memory of everything. George walked in. You got to start out by wishing George happy birthday on number 72. Here we go.
Well, happy birthday. How's it feel to be 72?
Played golf today, and I didn't shoot my age. And it should be getting easier every year to shoot your age, but I didn't do it. So a little disappointed, but I feel fantastic.
Is it hard to believe it's been 40 years since 1985 and winning it all?
Some of the memories are still so vivid. It can't be 40 years, but it has. And I haven't seen a lot of the guys that I saw out in the lobby of this hotel. I haven't seen some of them in 35 years, probably some in 38 years. They get traded, they get released, they go live their lives. I continue to live mine, and now we get to see each other. So it's going to be a lot of fun for all of us. I've seen Pat Sheridan, I haven't seen in a long time. Mike Jones, I saw Mike Jones, Jorge Orta, so it's going to be good. It'll be a fun weekend. And then you get the 15 guys, too. So.
And George knows those guys.
Yeah.
Because he was still around.
Oh, yeah.
As an ambassador.
He's a Royal through and through. And so one of the things I wanted to ask him about was Game 3 of the ALCS. My grandfather, Danny Ontiveros, who was instrumental in me becoming a huge sports fan and my love of boxing and baseball and the Chiefs and everything else. I watched so many games with him when I was a kid. He always told me that was the best performance he ever saw from a baseball player in a game was Game 3 of the ALCS against the Blue Jays. And we always talk about coming back from 3-1 in the World Series, but they never get to the World Series if they don't come back against the Blue Jays, and they had lost Game 1 6-1, and then they lost Game 2 in 10 innings 6-5, so they were down 2-0, and they had to win that Game 3. And George Brett in Game 3 went 4 for 4 with 4 runs scored, 3 ribbies. He hit 2 home runs. He had an unbelievable play out in third base. Played great third base. Was just a magnificent game. And the Royals were up 2-0, and the Blue Jays scored 5 runs in the 5th. And you're thinking, this is oh my God! But the Royals scored a run in the 5th, in the 6th. They scored 2, and then 1 in the 8th. And George Brett was as much as you could dominate a baseball game. That's what George did. So I asked George about Game 3 of the ALCS against the Blue Jays.
You mentioned Toronto. That Game 3 performance in the ALCS, I mean, you guys may not even get out of there without that. What are your memories of that game and you running over to Dick Hauser? You're all fired up right after the game when you guys got that win.
Well, I picked a good day to have the best day of my life. It was the best game I ever played, by far. And it was the most important game, as it turned out. If we lose that game, I don't think we're going to come back and win 4 straight. Well, obviously we lost the next day, but for me to go out there and have a performance like that, that's something that I'll never forget. I mean, and Dick Hauser, everybody thinks that we lost 10 playoff games in a row. We didn't. He lost some with the Yankees. So everybody, Dick Hauser's first win, he's 0-10. And I just remember, how calm he was. And I was fortunate enough to catch the last out. Dwayne Mosby had a pop-up to me. I swear to God, it's one of the highest frickin' pop-ups ever. I'm sitting there. I'm starting to shake. I'm going, you can't miss this one. And I caught it, and I'm walking off the field. I remember Frank came over, gave me a big hug, walking across the field. And Dick's walking across, and I had the ball. I said, here, you deserve this. And I gave it to him.
That's awesome. And Sabes got hit around in that game. 4 1/3, 9 hits, 5 runs. Bud Black pitched a third of an inning. Steve Farr comes in, 4 1/3 innings of scoreless relief and got the win. But, I mean, that was so cool to hear George Brett talk about it. He picked the right day to have the best game of his life. How about that?
Yeah, it was incredible. And I'm glad you pointed that out because a couple of the games that he had against Toronto were off the charts. They just aren't in the same sentence when you say, the games against the Yankees when they didn't make it to the World Series. Then when he did take them to the World Series in 1980 with the home run blast. But in 85, that Toronto team was so good, and that series was so hard. He said they lost the next day, which you reminded everyone. They came back from 3-1 down, but it was 2-0 down when he had this game, and it was just incredible.
He runs over, puts that baseball in Dick Hauser's chest. Basically, that was for you because to end Dick Hauser's losing streak as a manager in the postseason.
Yeah, because everyone sees his statue out there in the outfield with George Brett, and then his number retired as well. His number 10, George Brett's 5, and then Frank White's 20 out there. People can see that today if you go out to Kauffman Stadium. Who would have ever thought modernly that Hauser had a problem in the playoffs? I mean, he just reminded us that was the day before, the 2 losses before, got him to 10 straight losses as a Yankee or Royals manager in the playoffs. You don't think about that with Dick Hauser now, do you? You're just like, no, champion. 1985 Royals manager and champion. Do people know who the 1980 Royals manager was?
I mean, I sure did. I mean, I was only 5 when they won it, but
Jim Fry.
No, 1980?
Yeah.
Jim Fry.
Yeah, Jim Fry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they faced
and then we just
Dick
forget
Hauser,
we forget
Dick
about
Hauser in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Dick Hauser was the manager of the Yankees.
We forget about him in the middle because you think about Whitey Herzog getting the Royals really going.
Oh yeah,
and Charlie Lau,
and it was
teaching George Brett how to change his batting style a little bit.
Yeah, just how things work out, and then Whitey was the manager for the Cardinals when they beat the Cardinals and they won the championship. The guy that they had such great teams with.
And for today, by the way, beautiful weather, I think. Oh, I didn't want to take away from Jeff Penner's segment. Sorry. Hopefully Jeff's not awake yet.
How could you possibly?
We'll talk to him later. But these two of the hottest teams in baseball right now.
Right.
The Royals and Cardinals.
Oh, it'll be a great game.
They're rolling.
That Jake wants that bobblehead.
Big night for the bobblehead.
of the Saberhagen Brett embrace.
That's going to be
Who doesn't want that?
No, it's going to be a legendary one.
Boy, if you get this, you get your hands
That
on
was
this
10
one.
years in the waiting, too. Jake, when were you born?
I was born in 1980.
Okay, so the Royals were so good in the 70s, but only the division champions went on, and the A's were World Series level, and they would beat the Royals out barely. In fact, the 1977 Royals won 102 games. I mean, the Royals were so good, but they couldn't make the World Series. Then in 1980, they finally did, but they didn't win the World Series because the Phillies were so good, and Pete Rose was on the Phillies, and Mike Schmidt, a great third baseman, and anyway, Tug McGraw. But then in 85, we finally busted through. So it was, like George is saying, the Royals were really big time for basically 10 years of excellence before they finally won that championship.
We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I'm in here looking at 1985 World Series and ALCS box scores, and Jake walked in here and said, "Go outside, nerd."
Go on, get. Go on.
You liked that, didn't you?
Get, dummy.
Yeah.
Dummy.
Because we're not only talking about Game 3. We're talking
Right.
about their backs are to the wall even later. I'm thinking Game 6 in Toronto. That's the one I remember so well. And it's like, oh, man, the Royals are down 3-2, and they're going on the road to Toronto. And
I remember, Jake, you'll love this story. So, man, I was so lucky. My grandpa took me to Game 5, and the Royals were down 3-1. We sat up in the upper level, and I remember I was very reluctant, and I kept telling my grandpa, you know, if the Blue Jays win, I don't want to be here. I want to leave before they win. And my grandpa got pissed off at me and looked at me. He goes, "They're not going to win, Mio. You don't act like that. We're gonna stay. We're not leaving these seats." But thankfully, the Royals scored, I think, in the first and the second, and it was 2-0. And then Danny Jackson pitched a shutout. But still, you were nervous, right? So I remember them finishing the game, and I looked at him and I said, "You think they can win? Will they win in Toronto?" And he goes, "They're gonna win." And he was just kind of mad. He goes, "They're gonna win." And we walked off. And little did we know that they were gonna win 2 games in Toronto, and end up hosting Game 1 of the World Series against St. Louis.
well, now I finally
love
know why last year when it was burning hot, when we had New Day at the K. And I was out there watching the whole game because that's what I do. If I go to a game, I
Right.
watch the whole game. And Steven stayed out there. Now I know why. It's because your grandfather said,
Instilled
"You're
that
not leaving."
principle.
Well, let me tell you something.
Instilled that principle
It's
early.
So different too, because my dad, every sporting event we ever went to, especially the Royals games, he's always looking for an escape plan. You know what? That's just kind of like the theme of his life. But he was always looking for a way out. You know, starting the 7th inning, we leave now. You know, we'll be parking. We'll be on I-70 in 5 minutes. You know, and so then he's always thinking about it, how to get out of a situation, how to get out of there. My grandfather was told, you know how much these tickets cost? And we're staying to the end. You know why and this does not seem sanitary to me now. One of the reasons why we were staying to the end, because he would make me go up and down the stairs of Kauffman Stadium with him and pick up all the collector cups that
Yeah.
people left behind.
Yeah.
And we leave there with
Stacks.
like a stack of 25 collector cups.
Oh, we did that too.
And then you'd go to my grandfather, and he'd put them in the dishwasher
Yeah.
a couple of times. And then you'd go to my grandfather's and my grandma's house,
Yeah.
and you'd look in the
That's what he
cupboard,
used.
and the cupboard was filled with Royals collector's cups from over the years. About
Absolutely.
like 50 of them.
I still have some from 14 and 15.
Grandpa, can we leave yet? No, we got to get the cups, mijo. And they go in there, and they'd be, because those collector's cups were a big deal. My grandpa also
Yeah,
collected. He
they used to be high
cans
quality
so-
too.
Yeah.
Well, they were high quality back in the day. They
Oh,
weren't.
yeah.
They weren't throwaways. It was like really good.
Oh, I still have some from 14 and 15 where I would go I don't even drink soda. I go just grab a soda.
There was no
14 I did.
purchasing cups at stores and things from my grandfather. He got his cups where he thought the normal people should after a Royals game.
Right.
You know?
Best cups you can get.
Yeah, that's right. And guess what? And they're free.
That's right.
And, there's a little beer in them, so what? You're going to wash it out and it'll be just fine. So we're taking a walk down memory lane. By the way, you're going to go to any thought of you going to Dallas for Thanksgiving for the Stan Weber Bowl? Chiefs and Cowboys? At least
well, let me.
pop in your
Since
head.
we're going back to memory lane, can we go back to memory lane again? The last time the Kansas City Chiefs played the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day was 1995. That's a little ways back now. I was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Todd Lebo said, first world problems. I love when he said that, when we're griping about something in sports or in our world around this part of the country in Kansas City in 2025 or something. So here's my first world problem. I was asked to work on that Thanksgiving Day. Wow. I had to work. Guess what my work was? I worked for this company owned by 4 billionaires, okay? the Bass Brothers of Fort Worth.
Oh, wow.
We were a giant agricultural company, and each of the four brothers, multi-billionaires each. It's important to point out, each individually. And that was back in 1995 when there weren't as many billionaires around. So these guys' office in Fort Worth, unfortunately, being so rich, they have to have security around them and everything else. This is not necessarily fun. It's fun being wealthy, but you talked about your kids going to school. How about if you had to have security with them all the time because you never wanted anybody to have, any situation where where anybody could be hurt or captured or anything like that. So anyway, he said, "Hey, the Chiefs are coming down to play the Cowboys." One of the brothers, Ed Bass, he sits on the front row of the Dallas Mavericks game. I still see him on TV today. So Ed's a sports fan, and Ed said, "Well, you know what? Why don't you guys fly down here?" We had a corporate plane. We had one here in Kansas City. Everywhere I flew on our corporate plane. So that's pretty nice right there. But my day of work was my wife and I and Glenn Poe and his wife Karen, we had to get up and go down to the airport at 8 o'clock and fly down to Dallas on our corporate jet, get picked up by Ed Bass's security at a exclusive FBO, taken over to the Worthington Hotel in Fort Worth in downtown, and there was Ed Bass and his security team, and we went over to Texas Stadium and watched the Cowboys, who won the Super Bowl that year, had won the Super Bowl 2 years before, and lost the NFC Championship. The Cowboys were the biggest deal. They won in 92, 93, lost to San Francisco in 94, and now here they were in 95, but the Chiefs were really good. Ask Tim Grunhard about this. The Chiefs were really good in 95, so it was a heck of a battle. Cowboys-Chiefs, and we had to sit in a suite. Tough day at work. A suite at the game, went back, flew home, and we're back home by like 9 o'clock at night after I flew down and watched the Chiefs play the Cowboys. What a day. That was awesome.
Yeah. You going to go this time?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
do you kind of want to? I mean, maybe
well,
you're not, but like when you saw it, like, oh,
I'd like to be at every Chiefs game, and every Cowboys game.
Love
but
that.
You know how hectic it gets at that point with K-State basketball and stuff. I don't even know if I'm going to be in town.
But I'm just not talking about the details. I'm just talking about football fan Stan Weber.
Oh yeah,
wouldn't you love to be there?
No,
for that game in that stadium.
First of all, these are my two teams, and when I came on the scene as a young guy and saw them come onto the scene, okay, and really be dominant, late 60s, early 70s, these are two of the best teams, up and coming, and were elite. They rarely played, but when they did, I propose to you, because I love uniforms, there is no better look in the NFL when the Chiefs are out there against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to wear their white jerseys, and the Chiefs wear their red, and it is the most beautiful pictures are the Dallas Cowboys against the Chiefs.
Who do you root for?
Cowboys.
Is it hard at all? Or
No, I'm a Cowboys fan to the bottom of my toes.
You talk trash on the Chiefs then during that game?
No, but my buddies are talking trash to me today, so I did have a little comment back to them. Yeah, because all my buddies, we all love the Chiefs.
What do they say to you?
They love getting after me because I like the Cowboys.
Give me a sample. Like, what do they say?
Oh, because there was a show yesterday where I guess an NFL executive was on and said the Chiefs have surpassed the Cowboys as the biggest draw.
America's team.
America's team.
Yeah.
And
Chiefs are now America's team.
So they said that, but if the part of the interview that they showed, the guy said at the end, well, the fact that if Taylor Swift wants to go to the games, and talked about the modern,
that's right,
the modern addition of fans. I told him that's a bit embarrassing. That you're if Taylor Swift is taking you over the top, of beating the Cowboys, when the Cowboys haven't been to the NFC Championship game since 1995. I don't know. Be careful what you're bragging about. The Chiefs should be the biggest deal. But I also told my buddies, I had to say this, look at the feature games. Who's the most featured team in the NFL coming up this next season by schedule? By the schedule right now, you put the Chiefs up there, right?
Chiefs. Seven primetime games.
7 primetime, 8 standalone.
Guess what? The Cowboys are right there with them.
Right behind them.
I don't know. No, the Cowboys are right with them.
6.
They
have 6.
They have 6.
Chiefs have 7.
The Chiefs have Thursday night football. The Cowboys kick it off, and the Chiefs play on Friday night. Mm-hmm. Which game is going to be a million times more highly rated? Thursday night. I'll answer it for you.
Is it Thursday night? I don't know.
Okay, and then they play on Thanksgiving Day, both of them. They both play on Christmas Day. And do the Chiefs have one more Thursday night or Sunday night game?
They have 7 primetime.
They have 7 primetime.
Cowboys have 6 primetime. But if you count if you count the standalone on Thanksgiving, then that's 8.
So you're not counting. That's
Yeah.
That's a 7th.
Yeah, then that's
And that'd be the 6th
that's
for the
8.
Cowboys.
That's
That'd be 8
for the
8
Chiefs
and 7 for the
7
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Chiefs win.
Yeah, there
8
you
to
go.
7.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Hey.
I like that.
But Jerry Jones, I thought, made a big move in the pop culture scene with his cameo on Landman.
You're right.
When he's
You're
in
right.
there with Billy Bob Thornton and John Hamm, 2 acting heavyweights, and he stole the scene, and I'm not afraid to say that. Jake, did he not? Did he not
Oh,
steal
no,
the scene?
it's impressive.
I said, this man can act.
It's impressive.
And he stole the scene. It's emotional. And he's talking to John Hamm. He's talking to Billy Bob Thornton. That was a big move from Jerry Jones. We'll be back after this on WHB.